Bob Hein is the sound engineer and designer, I guess, for the movie Paterson, which stars Adam Driver as a reflective kind of blue-collar worker, right?
Exactly, yeah.
From Paterson, New Jersey.
Adam Driver plays a quiet, introspective, very talented poet. And he drives a bus, a very kind of mundane sounding job, which Jim Jarmusch turns into a magical, beautiful ride through Adam's life. Or his name is Paterson in the movie. So he goes in and out of his own world through the film, and our goal in sound and music was to draw us like the world draws him. He has no choice. The world needs him. He needs to work. He goes to work in an everyday world, but then he goes into his poetic imagination. So it was our endeavor to make the music and the sound take you in and out of his world, essentially.
And you're doing that with two different art forms that aren't created together. There's a lot of poetry that was written to the score, beautiful operatic music. And the idea of combining poetry and music is ancient, and you're doing it in a very different way, in other words. You're taking this man's poetry and expressing it also musically in scenes.
Yes, the film has a repetitive quality about it, because every morning he wakes up at 6:15 and he goes to the bus depot and he gets on his bus and he gets hassled and he drives off and he hears conversations in the bus. But then all of a sudden he transfers into his own mind and becomes a poet. So the sound does the same thing. As he's sort of putting the world away, the sound is going away and taking a different journey. The sound becomes something else at that point. One thing we did in Paterson is Jim Jarmusch has a group called Squirrel, which we all sat down and decided, yes, you should do the music for the movie because it's going to be great. So he went ahead and did that, and he also asked me for some drone-ish kind of interesting atmospheric kind of sounds that he could compose with. So I decided that it might be interesting to explore the world of children playing music, because I felt that Adam Driver is almost like a child sometimes. So I went into the studio and I took children's music and I reinvented it into otherworldly kind of sounds. And I'd show those to Jim and Alfonso, the editor, and they loved them. They were like, this is great. So somehow or another, they incorporated that into the score. So I could also use those sounds subtly without the score in the film. So there's a lot going on that's musical based in the sound design itself. And Jim is very, he's very interested in subtlety. I think Nick has experienced the same thing on the film he worked on. So we spend a lot of time dealing with very subtle, very delicate sounds.
For a movie of this size, I don't know what the budget was, but it seems like it's a small indie movie. I counted on IMDb, you have 7 people in the sound department working on this film. Was that a lot? Was that a little? Or was that just right?
For that film, it was just right. The nature of the film is that it doesn't have big sound effects, dramatic scenes, you know. It's more of his inner journey. And sometimes I find that these kind of films are in a way more difficult to achieve because you're working with a canvas that's completely white. So when we start, we don't have something visually that's going to obviously be developed by sound. We invent the sound that goes with the movie. And the movie kind of draws us in and tells us what it needs. And that's how we go about it. I've worked many years with Jim Jarmusch, so we have a very intuitive collaboration, and we understand each other really well. So a lot of times we spend kidding around and not discussing what the work is, because Jim doesn't like the process to get in the way of the final the final soundtrack. So what he likes to do is leave me alone and come to the mix and let us mix a scene or two, and then he'll tune in. And he has very, very clear requests that he makes and that we work on together.
Bob has been nominated for BAFTA Awards, Motion Picture Sound Editors Awards, and has on his resume films like Blue Jasmine, Precious, The Butler, Beasts of No Nation, Moonlight in Paris, and The Royal Tenenbaums. What a career. Wow.
It's going well.
Congratulations.
Thank you.